You guys, it's the kid, 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 it's the kid. We're back here for another of our lovely weekly Stay Black series. This is the lovely, wonderful Stay Black series. So I'm not sure whether we'll be able to have the gang with us today because they may be busy. So, but they may be able to come through or not. So remember, this is going to be about an hour and a half. Because of course, we have to get ready for Barcelona and Atletico Madrid at 9 p.m. So I'm going to give myself at least a half hour just to, get my match meal ready. So I think, so this might be an hour and a half. We'll just see how things go with who comes in, taking questions on the topics. So there are two main things to cover for this week. And again, the Stay Black series, so it's not a racial series. Rabina. Stay Black series is, I think, it's a cathartic discussion about being black and about the issues to do with being black or African, in the diaspora or wherever you are in the world, and just issues for us to talk about, discuss, and any kinds of things that we have, which is why I always like this thing to be a back and forth. And I even want to open it up to people, because again, look, if you're white, green, yellow, you can come in here. I don't care because this is for everyone. But, I do think that, especially for younger people and so forth, maybe going through difficult things, having difficult issues, internal struggles with this crazy world that we're living in. I think this is like a nice little haven and home for us to have an open discussion about things. So, two main things. I was actually going to start this primarily talking about black and white people in sports and how they're perceived in sport. That was the main thing. But then I saw Terry Crews trending. I know I don't go for trending stuff, but I felt that this does need to be addressed. And I want to get to your thoughts on this, guys. So let me bring this up. If you guys, all right, let me boost that up a bit. So this is what Terry Crews said. If you are a child of God, you are my brother and sister. I have family of every race, creed, and ideology. We must ensure Black Lives Matter doesn't morph into Black Lives Better. So let me read that again. If you're a child of God, you are my brother and sister. I have family of every race, creed, and ideology. We must ensure Black Lives Matter doesn't morph into Black Lives Better. So he's been taking some heat from this. And I think I want to address this tweet and also want to address Terry Crews, the man. So those are the two things I want to address, is that tweet specifically and Terry Crews, the man. I want to just send a little link here to your boy, man. I want to join about Harry and black and white in sports. Give that to my boy Danny Boy. So first of all, the tweets. I can see where Terry is coming from, but it is crazy for him to bring this up. I can see where he's coming from, but it's crazy for him to bring this up. So what I say, what I always say is, when people fight for equality, there is a good chance that once they get a hint of equality, they will then want power based on how angry they were at being treated badly. It is very similar to what is happening with white women right now. The Me Too movement and so forth isn't about equality. It's about power. White women want power. That's why we had the female Ghostbusters. That is why we're having a female censored Pirates of the Caribbean. Because the white women have said, oh, we have a hint of equality here. No. We want more equality. We want power. So I can see where he's coming from there of like, could this now morph into black now wanting dominance and to really control things? But here is the issue with this tweet and putting out this tweet. I think someone even mentioned it. Let's get there first. We've not even gotten there first, and there is not even a hint of getting there because there is no proof that Black Lives Matter has anything to do with Black Lives Better. You have no proof. So you've taken it upon yourself to take what is a racist or a ignorant liberal white person's view, which is that, oh, Black Lives Matter, this is a threat. This is a threat. Oh, Black Lives Matter? What about my life? What about, oh, you mean Black lives are better? Black lives mean more? Black is more? Black power? It's so funny because I was watching a program earlier today where the term Black Power, was actually coined by Dude Stokely Carmichael, aka Kwame Ture. So all these guys saying white power, white power, you're like, you saying white power? It doesn't mean anything, because where is your white power thing coming from? Because Black power makes sense based on why he was saying it and results of why he was saying it. So you look at that thing, right? And it's like, how do you bring up the whole Black Lives Better thing? Because this has to do with Terry Crews. But let's just deal with this, is that you can't make that leap. Why are you even making that leap? Because there is nothing that we've seen that people of the Black Lives Matter movement are saying that Black Lives Better. Because Black Lives Matter is blacks are treated like trash in America. Blacks are treated like trash mostly around the world. As in, people just want you for your culture, how cool you are, they want your clothes, but they don't want you near their wives or their girlfriends. They don't want you in their homes. They don't really want to really be with you, really. They just want to take your culture, but they don't really care about you. You know, that is why they say white, the angels are white, black, the devil's black. You know, black is seen as unclean, evil, deadly, all that kind of stuff. And white is seen as pure and all that crap. So the Black Lives Matter things, oh no, we actually do matter when we're not just nonsense. So why is Terry bringing in Black Lives Better? Unless you see evidence of black people saying, no man, we are better than whites. Black is better than his white people. Black people should be ruling the world. Until you see examples of that, they can bring the whole Black Lives Better thing. But there has been no examples of anyone, the Black Lives Matter movement, saying that we are here to show that we are better. Because you're extrapolating that. Black Lives Matter. No, it isn't Black Lives Matter more than white people. See, people are just trying to add that stuff in. Just take these statements as this: Black Lives Matter. That's it. And when you now see, okay, why are you saying Black Lives Matter? And you're now saying, and then I'm looking at what is happening. If you used your brain and logic, that the black life just seems to be discarded. Yeah, we kill a dude. Yeah, we got it wrong. Yeah, Breonna Taylor. Yeah, we went to the wrong house and we just shot her. Yeah, we were trying to arrest the dude, but they're the black. Well, where's with this? Oh, but if they're white, oh my gosh, what? You know, so that is where it comes from. Now we come to Terence Crews. Terry Crews. See, Terry Crews is a very sad case. He's an extremely sad case because I understand where this is coming from. I understand where his previous tweets are coming from. Terry Crews has a great job right now. He has a great job on America's Got Talent. You know, which is about, guys coming in, to show how talented they are and all that stuff. So and I can know for sure that it pays very well. So and this is the thing about Terry Crews, is that fair enough, you've got a really good paying job. The white man is paying you very, very well and very handsomely, and you want to keep this job. You have two choices. So this is the thing about Terry Crews that is so sad. You see, you could either take the Will Smith route. That's the thing. You could either take the Will Smith route, which is, don't say anything, because Will Smith is similar. And I think this is and I think it was my brother that was actually saying this to me, which I didn't want to believe, but I'm now seeing that it is actually so very true, is that, Will Smith is the kind of black man that white people love, unthreatening, affable, always happy, very, very peaceful, not wanting to ruffle any feathers, wanting to always bring people together. He's also light skinned as well, which helps. So he's the kind of black person that white people love, Trust me, white people love Will Smith more than they love themselves. The good black dude. Like the good Negro. So Will Smith has taken the stance of, I need this white money. I need this white money because my money is good. Gives me my mansion, gives me my house and everything. I need this white money. So let me not just say anything. If I do say anything, I'm going to say it in a very plain way and just copy what the status quo is. So the one route really is mainly don't say anything. But Terry has taken the other stance and the other route, which is, I'm going to talk and I am going to show my white employers that I am really down with you. Because I'm so afraid that I could lose my job. I'm going to triple down. Because the crazy thing is, this is that if you said nothing, you'd still keep your job. That's the thing. If you said nothing, you would still keep your job. But you brought it upon yourself to say, no, I have to now speak. And I have to now talk. I have to now show that, yeah, I am with these people. Because when you look at, it's similar to John Barnes, very similar to John Barnes, which is why Terry should just think to himself, most of the people who are supporting what you're saying are white. And not all white people, specific white people, because there are white people in the know who will be like, bro, Terry, you're crazy. Because I've looked at some of those responses and there's some white people who have said, Terry, you're crazy. You've totally missed the spot. But white people who don't want to address the problem and want to live in the bubble because they believe that we live in a post-racial society would love what Terry is doing. But it is obvious what this is, that you are so desperate to keep on to the status that you have that you are tap dancing, doubling down, doing this and all that kind of stuff. But what Terry doesn't realize is that job won't be there all the time. You won't have that job forever. And trust me, you are replaceable. You are replaceable. And trust me, your time will come. You will not be around forever. You won't be in that role forever. So once you no longer have that job and everything, and you now want to because once white people are now done with you, now when I now go back to black people, they'll be like, whoa, so now we should accept you after everything you've done to try and ostracize yourself from thinking, what? Because this is the thing here. I love people that have different points of view. So even if you have different points of view of what most African American people are saying, that's great, because we should not shun different points of view. But this is what I always say. It says something about you airing these things out in public for everyone to see, as opposed to in private, similar to a John Barnes. So let's say, okay, what you're saying is not where all black people are at. Have a private conversation. Because if you have had a private conversation with the people, then you'd be like, I see where you're coming from. But now if you go out in public and show that you're not with the group, that is problematic, because you've not had a private conversation with these people to say, okay, let me see where you're coming from in private, so I don't sort of derail things. Because the danger is, once you now have one of them, like a Terry Crews, saying, oh, no, all lives matter, black lives better, it gives those ignorant white people ammunition, because here is a black guy who is saying that your Black Lives Matter thing is BS. Here's a black guy saying that your Black Lives Matter thing is really about black people trying to take over white people. That's why you get the whole thing in bondage saying White Lives Matter, because of very insecure white people who feel that Black Lives Matter is like an uprising of black people rising up to form a rebellion and maybe to start a race war. That's what it is. Those people that say all lives matter and white lives matter are afraid of a race war. They're afraid of a race war, or they're maybe just afraid of like, so black people now have to not be treated like the same as us. What? No, it's about us being king. It's about us being king. That's what it is. So let me take what you guys say, man. What was it? So just talk about the statements. No need to go into the dude's movies with you. Wait, so is this in reference to me? Tell me, is that in reference to me? I don't understand. What is that in reference to me? Real deal. Everyone wants to be blank until it's time to be black. Oh no. So my favorite statement is always, everybody wants to be black. How many times do you see your white friends say, yo, nigga, this, you my nigga doing rap stuff? He has the baggy jeans, he's got the big fat shade, he's saying he's speaking in a slang and everything like that, because white people love that African American culture. They love it. They want it. That's why you had Elvis Presley. Elvis Presley, who was a complete thief. He stole African American culture. He stole it and tried to put himself upon it. It was complete theft. Actually, Elvis Presley doesn't have any talent, but they tried to pass him off as king of rock and roll, which is crazy because they've always been fascinated by it. But when it comes to like, oh, trying to be black under the real serious issues, oh, they're like, oh, no. Let me get away. George, you want to go there? You want to go there, George? Okay, look, I said again, this is about being real. The Stay Black series is about being real. Okay, so George, you want to go there? Oh Lord. Okay, George, you want to go there? All right, let's talk. Let's talk. Oh gosh, let's talk. George, you want to talk? Because I remember when this happened, and me and my brothers, we had like deep conversations about this. Long conversations about this with me and my brothers. Have you seen what Terry Crews looks like? Let me even give you a better pick. Have you seen what Terry Crews looks like? Gosh. All right. So let me just show you. This is Terry Crews. This is Terry Crews, guys. Terry Crews. That's Terry Crews right there. So you mean to tell me this dude was molested? You see, when you hear molested, you think children, kids. I was watching this thing about, WWF superstars and their sons, and is it Tatum O'Neal? And I was reading about how Tatum O'Neal's mother had him when she was 11 because she was molested at 11 years old. That is so disgusting. I don't even know how to put it into words. That's why I tried not to think, but like as I was watching it, my mouth just hung open. So when you just think of people who molest kids, that's the worst of the worst. I told you, like, when you do stuff to kids and all that kind of stuff, that's the worst of the worst. People who molest kids, man, I don't mess with that stuff, man. So, but when you're thinking about molesting, it's people who can't defend themselves. You're overpowered. You're in a scenario where you don't really know. It's very psychological. You're very psychological. So you mean to tell me that this dude was molested, and this dude went on the Me Too movement alongside other white women to say he was molested? Because I'll keep it real with you. As I was watching it, I'll be fully real with you. Look at what you look like. You're a black man who is this tall with these kinds of muscles, and they're going up saying that you were molested. Now, his explanation was, I didn't want to react because if I reacted, I would lose everything. I'm like, Terry. So you were worried that if you had reacted violently, you would have lost all of your money and your career in Hollywood would have gone down the drain. Terry. So what means more to you? Your self-respect or you not losing your place in Hollywood? Because if a guy did that to you and you punched him in his face and then you said, I smacked this guy in his face because this guy was trying to grab my balls, people would be like, oh, wow. Then people will now be like, okay, what's this dude? So it would be very difficult for you to lose your place because people say, wait a minute, we know who Terry is. Terry is a very nice guy, very thinking guy. So there must be a reason why he would a guy who we know that 9.99 times out of 10, this guy is super nice, super well, and everything. There must be a reason why he punched this guy in the face. There must be a reason. So again, it all connects, because the fact that you wouldn't react to a guy doing that to you, which is in terms of guy code, like, that's a no. It's a no. If a guy came and tried to grab anything from me, I am punching that guy in his face. If I'm saying what the hell, or I am smacking you in the face, almost breaking your face open. Say no. So it's because put yourselves in that position right now. Put your guys in the position right now. If someone came up to you out of nowhere, they're not even announced, out of nowhere, and they went and to grab your balls, would you be like, "Oh, hey, what?" You'd be like, "What the f?" Or you try to fight them. That's just a natural reaction. But it just goes to show that his insistence on maintaining his role in Hollywood was more important than his self-respect. And that is a very dangerous man. That, my friends, is a very dangerous man. Yo, Joe, thank you, they like the video, man. It's not about being black or anything. It's about self-respect. It's just that with the whole black thing is like, I just put that as an extra thing. I say for anybody, that's just general self-respect. Even my white friends, if someone did that to them, they'd punch him in the face. Trust me, even my Japanese friend, if you did that to me, he'd be like, "What?" So no way, man. Yeah, I think Morgan Freeman says that race does not exist, man. I think that's what he said. I think he said that race is something that it's more like a construct. It doesn't really exist, man. So, but yeah. So the thing with Terry Crews is, I get it. I understand. You are desperate to maintain where your position is, but this is what I said. This is always very dangerous. You don't want to ostracize yourself from the black community. You don't want that. For me, that's unwise. Now, people will say, "Oh no, HH, wait a minute. A guy can have his views. He can have his thoughts, and if his thoughts aren't with the monolith of black, it's fine." But again, let me bring up this lady here. Let me bring up this lady here. Because I never want to do a whole story dedicated to this lady, because I'm like, I'd rather not. But you bring up this lady here, Candace Owens. You see, with Candace Owens, fine. You have your viewpoints and so forth. But your viewpoint is very clearly against general African Americans. And I was like, okay. But then when you now dig deeper, who is Candace Owens married to? Let's do it. Who is Candace Owens married to? Because guys, these things, they all make sense. Because who you marry is very key. It's very key. So she is married to, oh gosh, why is that so small? She's married basically to this English dude who is pretty much part of, like, you would argue, high society, posh dude. I want to get a bigger pic. So once you now see the fact that she's married to a specific white dude who is part of a specific society, you're now seeing what she wants to become and what she wants to be. And my thing about it is that people say, wait, HH, you should be able to marry and be whoever you want to be. You should be able to marry and be whoever you want to be. But guys, I'm just keeping it real with you. When the chips fall down, and it really becomes into the brass tacks, you want to have a side that you're on, because the reality is that for Candace Owens, you will never be white. You'll never be white. I'm sorry. You'll never be white. And for Candace Owens, do you really believe that those rich, upper class, posh English white people view you as their equal? I know these people. I went to school in the countryside. Okay. I met these people. I know how they think. I know these people. So when I just saw her husband, I was like, I know these people. I went to school with these people. I saw their parents, and I know how they think. So for Candace Owens, they will always view you as a black. You're black. Yeah, you're married to, but you're black. You know, and and this is my prediction. I may be wrong. My prediction is somewhere down the line. Who knows? 5 years time, 10 years time, 12 years time. Candace Owens will want to be accepted by black people again. It's how these things work, because what you've learned in life, and the world rhymes. The world rhymes, and things come back onto themselves. Because the world can be random, but within the randomness of the world, there are patterns. I keep telling you, there are patterns within this world, and there are certain truths that you can never get past from. There's certain truths you can never get past from. So this is the thing. Oh, I can be anything. No. There's certain truths you cannot get past from. And that's what I'm going to say on that. You've already ruled that first black man of the Me Too movement over respect. Look, guys, all I'm saying is this, man. Seeing this huge, muscly dude, being part of the Me Too movement was weird. It was weird. It was completely and utterly weird and strange, man. It was completely utterly weird and strange, because it's like, why are you part of the Me Too movement? Why? But see, do you know why he was? The Me Too movement, that's a populist movement. Because, guys, forget it. All Terry Crews cares about is, I need my job in Hollywood. I need this money. Because look, Terry Crews, because he even said it himself, because I think I saw an interview about him, because I think he grew up in Detroit. Grew up hard. He was tough. He was poor. And he doesn't want to go back to that whole thing. So he's desperate to hold on to this kind of stuff. But I always say to people that, remember, keep the pendulum like this. Keep your pendulum balanced. Don't be overtly desperate. If you're too desperate, you will lead yourself into problems. You lead yourself into problems. It is true. I don't want sides. That's the problem. We shouldn't have sides. What do you mean by that? Expand on that. What do you mean by sides? What do you mean by sides? What do you mean by sides? Because I said again, okay, obviously we'll get to the whole stuff, because what I've always feared, not only feared, but what I've always said, that my thinking is, if ever there was a race war, and I think what these things have shown, and I think what people have realized, and what people may not realize, is we are a lot more divided than you think. We are a lot more divided than you think. That's what people say. We're a lot more divided and put apart than you think. So actually, you know what? Let me see whether I can bring this to. So wait, let me talk on because Daniel, I'll send you the link maybe in about a half hour. Let me get this out. Let me get the second topic out, then I'll probably bring you on, Daniel, in like the next half hour. So I want to talk about sports. Black and white people in sports. And there was a very interesting article about, let me see whether I can bring it up right now. Let me see whether I can bring this in. There we go. Beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah. Check this out. So let's do a little reading, shall we? Okay. Now, it's from The Guardian about how groundbreaking report reveals racial bias in English football commentary. Oops. What am I doing? What am I doing? All right. There we go. Hopefully you guys can see that. According to Gregory, that found players with lighter skin are regularly and overwhelmingly praised for intelligence, work ethic, and quality compared with those with darker skin who are reduced to physical and athletic attributes. So the study has been carried out by Ron Repeat, a Danish research firm, and is the first aimed at understanding whether the football media talks differently about players depending on their skin tone. More than 2,000 statements from commentary on 80 games across the Premier League, Serie A, La Liga, and Ligue 1 were analyzed. I want to get to the interest. So commentators are also 6.59 times more likely to talk about the power of a player if he has darker skin, and 3 times more likely to reference his pace. The study also found that 63% of criticism from commentators in regards to the intelligence of a player is aimed at those with darker skin. So Ron repeats research 6 months. Okay, blah blah. Because this is actually interesting. So you guys should really read this. Because I shared it with you guys on Twitter. On Twitter. But along with the piece of commentary that focuses on how fit and strong Real Madrid's Ferland Mendy is, they're hard on the view of black athletes being less intelligent and hardworking and able to succeed only because of their God-given physical and athletic attributes. So, see, this is a wide-ranging thing, man. This is the other right thing. People don't care. Your soccer vids versus your race vids, bad. What do you mean? Really? What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that? So let me expand upon this, man. This is, I mean, first of all, we always knew this because for me, I think this is a more sporting thing. I think this has to do with football, somehow basketball, and definitely the NFL. So those 3 sports: football, basketball, and even maybe rugby. I'll probably put rugby into it because rugby is what I play. So let me even give an example of myself. So in school, my position was always central midfield. That was always what my position was because for me, I like to be in the middle of everything. And for me, one of the things that I was best at, one of the things I enjoyed was passing and through balls. That's why I talk about PLO, my favorite players, Riquelme, one of my favorite players. So central midfield was always my favorite position. But because I was black, they said that you're either fast or you're strong. Those are the 2 things. Either you're fast or you're strong. So we don't really want to hear anything else about what you can do. Either you're fast or you're strong. So automatically they said, go on the wing. There you go. So that's when they were like, boom, get to the wing because use your speed, And the way they wanted to view you was speed or power. So if you're a striker, I want you to use your speed to run into the through balls. If you're strong, I want you to hold the ball up. If you're a winger, I want you to remember this was back the day where wingers were about. There were no intervals that were just about wingers, And I remember, there was one guy who was, I think he was sort of mixed race, I think. So he was half black and I think half Mediterranean. And this guy was so good, so amazing in central midfield that to say, okay, we just have to. So he had to be so ridiculously exceptional that they were like, okay, no, this guy has to be in central midfield. And this guy was flipping amazing. Funny thing that he's now a musician now, which is why it makes you really jealous because it was like, so you were that good at football and you're that good at music. My God. Also, he was a very nice guy as well. Really, 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 really nice guy. So, and this has always been the thing that I found interesting about sport. Same thing, rugby. Again, another sport that I played. So there's I've forgotten what it's called. Maybe you guys know. I don't know. Is it called the fly half or something? So in rugby, you have this thing called this scrum, where guys, you know, they go in and then you have the guy who basically receives the ball and he's like the thinker. He's the guy that passes the ball and moves the ball around. A black player will never have that role because that role is the thinker, the guy who just brings the intelligence guy who decides who is the playmaker. But if you're black, you're either one of the forwards, one of the guys in scrum, or like me, you're one of the backs, the guys that do the running. And then I always find it interesting when you look at the NFL. And in the NFL, you always, it's now getting interesting. So I just find it fascinating because in the NFL, I think maybe Americans, correct me if I'm wrong. Americans, correct me if I'm wrong. Please. If I'm wrong, please tell me. So, when you talk real, people hide unless it's sort of that. No, but you see, real deal. I always try to merge the two together. I try and merge football with a real talk. People will not hide. They will not hide. Trust me. I know people. Real deal. I know people. Trust me. I'm going to get into them. So, what always fascinated me is that in NFL, I think it's about 70% black. You have most of the quarterbacks that I always saw were white. Again, the most famous quarterback is Tom Brady, And then I always said to myself that why is it that remember, things have changed now, but I'm going chronologically. So initially, almost all of the quarterbacks that I saw were white. So the tight ends, the receivers, all those kind of stuff, those guys were all black. Basically the runners, the guys who were fast. So then again, they were pushing that narrative of the thinkers. The thinkers are the quarterbacks. The guys who are intelligent are the quarterbacks, and the guys who basically do all the running and the fast, those are either the defensive line or the tight ends and the receivers. And every time that there would be a Super Bowl, they would always give the MVP or the trophy to the quarterback. And that's why I've always found myself, I've never been a fan of NFL because the issue I always have with NFL is the whole attack of the defense. Okay, Tom Brady, let the defense just stand there and do nothing. Would you still win? Because the defense is just as important as the attack. Yes, obviously you need the touchdowns to win and everything. But why I always preferred like a football, specifically even a basketball, more so is everyone attacks, everyone defends. So this is truly a team effort. This is truly an amazing team effort. So then you have that there. See, building up now. But then something then changed. And this is now like almost the changing of the guard, because what they wanted, the narrative they wanted to run through is, okay, you blacks, you are physical, you stay physical, and while we whites, we do the thinking, and that's fair. Hey, whites, we're the brains, blacks, you're the physical dudes. And you see, this is the thing they always say, that they will tell you that your pace and your power is us actually complimenting you. It's not a compliment. Now, be proud of that speed and power, and be proud of that what has God given to you. But them saying that you're fast and you're quick, it's not a compliment. It's a backhanded compliment, because white people have always put more pride in intelligence over power. Why do they make Batman defeat Superman? Why do they make Batman so great? Because whites have always said that as long as you're intelligent, you can defeat the most powerful and the most fast person that's intelligent overall. So them giving you credit for just your power and speed, that's not a real compliment. Because they're saying that as long as our white guys are intelligent, they'll always be valued more than you. They're of more value because they're smarter. So then things now changed when your boy came through. Oops, sorry, what am I doing here? Things now changed when your boy came through. Let me do that. And this guy is now seen as a game changer. A boy. Patrick Mahomes II. Thank you. That's the one. Scrum half. Thank you. Scrum half. That's the one. Thank you. Scrum half. Scrum half is the one. Yeah. And so people have said that this guy is a game changer because this guy is mixing his natural speed and athleticism as well, but with also the brains of what is needed to be a quarterback. Because again, a quarterback is a thinking position, and because you have so little time to do what you have to do, your brain power has to be flipping magnanimous. But Patrick Mahomes, like, game changer, complete game changer in what he's doing, and what he's bringing in, man. So once that now happened, it's destroyed the narrative. Because the narrative they want to enforce is that the quarterbacks have to be white because white people are just naturally smarter. And what they try to push forth is, no, you black guys, you don't have the intelligence to play the role of the quarterback, but you do have the natural physical ability. Another key one here, again, one of my personal heroes, Serena, one of the greatest sports people of all time, Serena Williams. So you see, before Serena, even before Venus, we even start with Venus, tennis was pretty much seen as a white sport, really. Yeah, you had the odd guy, that black guy who won Wimbledon, like back in the 70s. But mainly for women, it was a completely white sport because the thinking was, like black people just do not have the technical ability to play this sport. Venus comes into the scene, sort of breaks that notion. Then Serena comes into the screen, completely changes the whole psychology of the sport, because people used to champion Lindsay Davenport, Steffi Graf, what's the name of that Swiss chick? I've forgotten her name. Martina Hingis. People say, okay, well, this is some of the greats that we've ever seen in the game. But Serena came in, changed that, and just took the level of the game to another level. But they still wanted to change the narrative. Because when you now hear people commentating about Serena, it's about, oh my gosh, look at her power. Oh, that's just sheer power. Oh my gosh, look at the power. Oh my gosh, the power. So now, how many of you guys have played tennis? These guys, they think they're sick. How many of you guys have not played tennis? Because you don't realize that. Because even people will say, oh, Serena, would you want to play against one of the guys like Federer or Nadal? And she said, no, because I'd be destroyed. Why would she be destroyed? Not necessarily because of their skill, it's their power. So they hit the ball so much harder than women. It would be unfair for anyone to face a guy. Even the best female tennis player against the best male tennis player is going to be hard. Now, and Serena, I think, would defeat, like, let's say, a mid-tier tennis player like Zverev or one of these like sideshow dudes. Like, I think she could beat them, but against the top dudes, she wouldn't. It'll probably be like 6-1, 6-1, or 6-love, 6-love. Maybe 6-1, 6-1. But within the women's game, what they always said about Serena was like, oh, the power, the sheer power. That, oh wait, have you guys played tennis? See, I've played tennis, and I think I used to, because I was a very sporty guy. I always used to try all different sports. See, I always preferred table tennis to tennis. Table tennis is an extremely addictive sport. Table tennis is an amazing sport. I loved it. But, I wanted to play tennis, When you play tennis, even if you have sheer power, you have to have technique. You have to. You can't. First of all, to become great at tennis is one thing. To become decent in tennis, you have to have technique, because it doesn't matter how hard you hit it. You have to ensure that it gets within the perimeter. So you have to mix that power with precision. You have to. And that is even much more difficult to hit it with so hard, but also maintain that even despite I'm hitting that hard, I am keeping it in line but I am putting it in a position that is making it very hard for someone to return the shot. So you're putting it right at the baseline where it just skims a bit of the white, so it is just in. That takes a lot of technique. It's just that Serena was able to mix power not seen in the women's game with her amazing technique as well. And also what's the name of that good Muguruza, the Spanish lady. She also has power as well, but power alone cannot make you a tennis player. It can't. You have to have technique, but they never really talk about the technique. They just go, "Oh my gosh, the power, the power, the power," because the image they have of the black man or the black woman is just this beast, this beastly thing. But the image they have of the white person, specifically the white ladies, the white ladies, they're so pretty, it's so lovely and everything, which is why they tried so hard to sell that crap of Anna Kournikova. For me, when I think of Anna Kournikova, I think of like a softcore porn, like basically she's like a stripper, like basically she's like a model. I don't think of a sports person. Oh yeah, she was a model who was half naked or something. When you think of what's the name of that chick, the blonde Russian chick, who they were trying to make her rival, it's like, no, but that's the image you want to put across, But what I always say to people is that no, this isn't the catwalk. Okay, this isn't Friends. Okay, this isn't Friends, which Friends was actually very white. This is sport. And in sport, it's about your sporting ability. It's not about what you look, it's about sporting ability. But they wanted to put forth and push forth that narrative. And then if now take it back to basketball now. Because this is the key thing now. And I want to hear what you guys think about this. See, for me, the second best sport in the world is basketball. The fastest rising sport in the world is basketball, and the reason why football is at the top is because football as a game is just amazing. Like it's just amazing. So football will never be beaten by its game, but basketball is much better run than football is, and basketball just has a much better. Basically, the institution of basketball and what it is and everything, even if it's not perfect, though, we need more black owners. But the institution of basketball and how it is, the culture and so forth, is amazing. It's amazing. But you've seen in America, they've tried to ensure that the NFL remains number one. They need that because this way that gets tricky. They wanted the NFL to remain primary because the face of the NFL was always the white quarterback. It was always the white quarterback. It wasn't any other that. It was always the white quarterback. Because them not wanting, because I've never understood. Wait a minute, basketball is just a better sport. It's just such a much more better sport, and it's more popular. Globally, it's more popular. So you may be big in America, but it's much more popular. You see, and I've always seen like if America have tried so hard to sell NFL as being this great thing, whereas for NBA, it's just organically grows. It just organically grows. And also, NFL have never had a Michael Jordan. But even when you look at basketball, they look and promote the athleticism of the black players, like the dunks, the crazy things, how all the things that they do and everything. But that's why for me, one of my two favorite players, what's it called? The reason why I'm a Orlando Magic fan is because of Penny Hardaway, who was more of a technical player. Go watch and see Penny Hardaway was a very, very clever player. And another guy is my man. Oh God, what am I going blank? Philadelphia 76ers. Oh my God. Why am I going blank? Oh my God. Guys, what's his name? Philadelphia 76ers. What's his name? Oh my God. Am I going blank? Oh my God. Why am I going blank? Why am I going blank? Philadelphia 76ers, the amazing player from the Philadelphia 76ers, one of my favorite players, and I'm going blank. Guys, help me. I'm a brick. I am an absolute brick. Thank you. I'm such an idiot. AI. Allen Iverson. If you look at Allen Iverson, one of my favorite, basically it's between him and Penny Hardaway. Those guys were smart players, very technical players. So their thing wasn't really about their athleticism or their physical attributes. It was just really about their skill and their brain work. And sort of, I know you guys are Iverson, you know, but and the thing about it is that, see, America are afraid of making, because you remember how it went? It began with baseball as America's pastime. Then it then went to now it's now NFL, but they refused to make basketball America's sport because it's always seen as like this. That's the black sport, you know. That's the black sport. So America have always been like, oh, okay, NBA is just there, but you can't deny how it's gonna keep on rising. You cannot deny how it's going to keep on rising, you know. And when you look at the NBA and sort of, you know, again, you look at a guy like, see, LeBron is the perfect example. LeBron is the perfect example because LeBron, as I say, he can play all positions. So LeBron, okay, you want physicality? Okay, I'll give you that. You want dunk? I'll give you that. If you want athleticism, I'll give you that. You want decision making? You want passing? You want me to be the playmaker and the point guard? I can give you that. So I can give you everything. I can give you your PMP, your pace and power, and I can also give you your thinking, you know, your psychology, your mentally man. So you know, but specifically when you look at like Iverson and thinking like the pace and power thing just doesn't work. And I think the thing about it is that for America, it's same thing about America's stubbornness with football as well. Because again, it's like baseball is a poor man's. It is essentially a poor man's version of cricket. See, cricket ain't great, but one-day cricket is better than baseball. I'll give you that. See, the test cricket is saying, but one-day cricket where it's quick, it's fast, it's more ferocious. It's a better sport and it has better rules than what baseball is. Baseball, remember, baseball is it derives. It's a derivation of cricket, similar to the NFL is also derived and it's a derivation of rugby. But for me, in terms of the rules and how the sport operates, rugby and cricket, one-day cricket, so are better than baseball and I would say American egg ball. But you see, they tried hard to make baseball America's sport, but again, people just were not interested. And people were far more drawn to the excitement of basketball. And then Jordan happened. And see, what I've never understood is you see what Jordan is. No one outside of America knows who the hell Tom Brady is. No one. Let's keep it aside. No one outside of thinking knows who Tom Brady is. You know, and no one outside of American cares about baseball. No one outside of America knows who the heck Derek Jeter is. You know, Derek Jeter, Tom Brady already known, or what's the name of that guy? Aaron Rodgers. They're only known in America. They're not known beyond. Michael Jordan is one of the biggest sports stars in the world. Kobe Bryant was global. LeBron is global. You know, I would also argue that Allen Iverson was pretty global as well, but for sure. So I never understood how once you saw what Jordan was, what he did, bro, this is your sport. Put everything into it. Screw the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl should be during the NBA Finals. But America, particularly white America, doesn't want basketball to be America's sport. They still want it to be the NFL. You know, but my thing about it is that if we now get more black quarterbacks, what now? So if we get more black quarterbacks, what now then? That's the thing. But see, going back to the whole thing of the notion of sports and black and white people in sports, because it's something that I've always been thinking about, something that I've experienced. I just always believed that this was always the fear of specific of like races or whites, but this was always their fear. We know they're fast and we know that they're strong. If we now give them intelligence, then what use are we? So for white people, their rationale is like, okay, everyone has a role. You blacks, you bring the power and the speed. We whites, We bring the intelligence and let's ride. But you know what? You know what? This again, speaking to my brother, there's something very interesting that my brother said. And I said, oh my gosh, it's true. Because we're just talking about, different guys have different talents. And I do believe that different races have different talents. Let's keep it real. Why does it always say made in China? What does it say made in Thailand? Let's keep it real. No Japan, no PlayStation. Let's keep it real. No Africa, no good music. Let's keep it real. No good music, no dance. And let's keep it real. No white people. There's probably no iPod or internet. But something interesting that my brother said to me is that maybe what white people are talented at their talents is organization. And they have better organizational skills than any other race. So he said maybe they do make the best managers. And I was like, maybe that's true. Because now that's maybe heretical to people, because people are, no. I believe that each race has specific talents. I do believe that. Whether it's through the genes and everything, different races have different talents. And I think that's just the beauty of the world, is that we bring different things to the table. So maybe from white people's point of view, is like, no, this is what we bring. We bring so separate from the whole management thing, which was that's just like an interesting concept that my brother talked about. But back to like on the field. So white guys say, wait, no, we do the intelligence. That's what we bring to the team, because we don't have your power, we don't have your speed. So you have the power and the speed, but we have the intelligence. But if you now have the intelligence, the power, and the speed, of what use are we? But the reality is, there are black people that we've seen, black sports, but that they have the power, they have the speed, they have the athleticism, and they have the technique, and they have the intelligence. So you just have to go with what is. you just have to go with what is. But the key thing about making that distinction is the notion of you have the power and the speed. It's not a compliment. Just get it right. It is not a compliment. So this is such amazing power, such amazing speed. That's not a compliment. A compliment is, wow, you were able to think, process, decide in a short space of time, and make the right decision based on you solving the problem or the issue of being the quarterback, throwing the right pass, or making the right throw ball, or executing the right technical thing. That is a greater compliment than, oh, you're really strong. Okay. Or you're really fast. Or you run very fast. Okay. Oh, you're fast or you're strong. How's that a compliment? Oh, you're smart. You can really decipher, think, rationalize, take things into account, and use a brain program. That's a greater compliment. So guys, so maybe last 20 minutes or so, I'll take some questions. So guys, send in your questions. The more controversial, the better. The more controversial, the better. So send in your cues, man. Send in your cues. Actually, you know what? So Daniel, I'll bring you in, man. If you want to, you said you wanted to come in, Mr. Daniel Jones, man. I'll bring you in, bro. Let me send you the Let me send you this whole thing, man. You say you wanted to comment. I'll bring you in. Or open up, you Gunther. All right, here we go. Where's the boy Danny Jones? There we go. All right, so Dan Jones, I've sent you I've sent you the link, man. So if you want to join up, click that link, man. So why are white teams more organized than African teams? Even African countries are bringing in white managers. Oh, that's a great point, man. Why are white teams more organized than African teams? Even African countries are bringing in white managers. So a couple of things there. I think the issue with African teams is you have the issue of corruption and greed. you know, players not getting paid, and you sort of like getting involved in stuff. Yo, Danny, so is your mic working there, bro? Yo, Daniel.
Yo, can you hear
me?
Is
the mic working, bro?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear? Okay, cool.
All right,
okay, so, let me just answer this question first, and I will come to you, man. So basically, African teams, and within African countries, basically, the stuff is very deep. It's to do with how those countries were left, and the effects of colonial rule, and the people who are left in charge. So these white teams don't have the history of having your country and your culture all pretty much screwed over and done over. So the way that Africa was left by the colonials and everything, that's had lasting effects on people who just want to just get money for themselves, and just the way in which the dynamics of the country has been effed up based on how they were left. Which is why people always say, okay, if colonial rule wasn't around, or sort of, how would Africa have looked? Because I think I was seeing, someone sent me a video of, I think it was Nigeria, someone playing against like England or something. This is like in the 50s or the 60s, and they beat them handily. So that's always the issue. And I think that's always going to be a thing that Africa, they have to just try to get over that and just really start getting organized. But it's a long process. It's a long process because there's still people that have the colonial mentality and the slave mentality, and that is actually problematic, man. All right. So Daniel, what's up?
Hey, what's up? Hey, man, it's great to be on the show. I should I turn on my camera or?
Oh, no. It's down to you. Like, no, anything.
Well, I just feel like if I do it without the camera, it's gonna almost feel like I'm hiding behind it. So.
Oh, no. No? Bro, who cares? It's 2020, COVID-20. Let's ride. So okay. So
all right.
Okay. So your thoughts. So you as a white guy. So you're Caucasian. You're fully white.
Yeah, I mean, I think you've seen me before.
Yeah. On your thing before. So what has been your thoughts about all these Tuesday things and just living in as a white guy? Because first of all, let me say this. Something that you said before, because I said that I'm not here to make white people feel guilty. I'm not here to make white people feel like, oh my gosh, I feel so horrible and terrible. No. I'm a very practical person. And I'm a person that likes just to say, okay, I'm very practical. This is what this is the results, and so forth. So what has been kind of your response as a white dude to hearing our discussion and just to seeing what things have been going on?
So let me just start by saying that I don't speak for every white person when I'm speaking, because to be honest, my life has been a very different from I would say most people.
Wait. Actually, wait. Guys are saying that you should turn on your mic, turn on your camera. So reveal thyself then.
Reveal. Here's the reveal.
Okay, yo, it shows the body of the flesh. Okay, so you're back in Spain now?
Yeah, I'm in a friend's house right now. So yeah.
Whereabouts in Spain?
Madrid.
Hey, Madrid. All right, cool. But all right, so Karen, go for
it. I have to leave in, I'd say, 15-20 minutes because I'm going to friend's house towards the game.
Yeah, no. Me too as also. We're only going to be here for about 20 minutes. But yeah, go on.
Yeah, no, I just want to say that I don't speak for most white people, I would say. And to be honest, when it comes to race, I've never really even thought about it. It's just not something that I've had to even think about. Maybe it's because I've gone to international schools most of my life, but I've just kind of been in this bubble where I haven't even had to think about it. And then, I saw you do some streams about Black Lives Matter, and it just started to get me more interested in the whole topic. And to be honest, it's really, really educational. It's really eye-opening as well. It's just something I've never even had to think about. And yeah, I've learned a lot with the stream. because I think what white people like me, we feel kind of awkward to think about race, right? And we do. It's true. It's true. Even when I first saw you streaming about, Black Lives Matter and all this, I was, I tuned in for a minute, and I was just like, maybe I should watch something else. Maybe I should turn on like some TV show or something, because it's just awkward to think about. But it's important. I think it's really important to talk about it, and a lot of people like me don't really want to think about it. And what we can do is just switch off, and we don't have to. We just ignore it, right? We just live our lives and not have to think about race. So, and we're not affected by it. So why would we? It's just another burden we would have to even think about it and stuff. So yeah, it sucks that race is a thing, but it
Oh,
is.
no, no,
And
no, but I think it's interesting what you said, because again, I always say to myself that, and again, it's impossible for me to get into like that, the mind of like a white person, like, okay, what should a white person do, and sort of, but again, it's like, because I remember I was watching this program with all these black people, and so forth, and then there was like a white guy there, and this white guy, obviously he wanted to learn stuff and everything, but he just said this thing, and then people just took it like as an insult, and they just attacked him. And my thing about this is that you cannot get anywhere without accepting that there are white people that will say something that may not really be right, or sort of. So rather than just sort of attacking them and making them a villain, because again, without having white allies, you're not going to get anywhere. You're really not going to get anywhere. But actually, no. Now this is another interesting question. This one I'll ask you. Do you have any black friends, black acquaintances, or how many black people do you know in a kind of close manner, whether you'll call them close friends or guys you sort of hang out with on regular occasions?
Yeah. So growing up, so I was born in Holland, right? And I lived there for 6 years. And then I moved to Spain. And I've been here, well, I've lived here for around 11 years or something. And just my entire life, I've been in international kind of schools. And so, people from different races was always just a normal thing, right? But there was a time, so before, when I just first moved to Spain, I went to a Spanish school, and for about a couple of years, and there was no people from, that weren't white. There wasn't Asian, there wasn't black, there was nothing. There was just white people. And then when I moved to international schools, for me, somebody who was from outside of Spain or who wasn't white was something really awesome. It was just really interesting to kind of hang out with them. So during school, I was always trying to hang out with people who weren't from Spain, because I just thought it was really interesting in general. And yeah, lots of my friends are black. Lots of my friends are Asian. So it's really interesting to hear kind of their perspectives on this whole Black Lives Matter as well, because they're from all over the world, not just America, not just Africa. I have friends from all over the place. It's
but they also know what is also very clear. And I think this is something that we both share that most people maybe are unfortunate about, because I went to an international school as well in Geneva for two years. And when you go to an international school, your worldview completely changes. Because before I went there, like all I knew were black people. Like the first white person I ever saw was when I was 6. So for 6 years, I'd never seen a white person in the flesh. I'd never seen any person other than black for 6 years. But then when I then went to Geneva for 2 years, amazing experience. But in the school, you had Dutch, Zimbabwe, South Africa, German thingy. My best friend was Australian, white Australian dude. That was my best friend. But when you go to an international school, you're like, oh, this is what the world is.
Yeah,
sorry.
Yeah, sorry, but I think the way I see it is a bit different, because my family is already kind of, from different places, because my mom is Spanish and my dad's English, right? So it's already like, if you're international, I already have like a connection with you. I already kind of want to be your friend, if that makes sense. So yeah, when in school, like I don't really talk about this too much, but in school, my best friend was from Nigeria, So, I don't know, probably the connection with football was what, but the funny thing is, so I'm not that big of a Liverpool fan now, okay? But I was a massive Liverpool fan during school, and my best friend was a Man United fan. And for some reason, I just love that we had that difference. And I think a lot of people nowadays they try to hang out with people who are very similar to them. I don't know quite why. Maybe it's because they can relate to that. But for me, it's always been, oh, you're different. Oh, okay, let's hang out. Let's try to
No,
do
no, no,
different things.
and I think
I like that.
no, no,
It's
and I
fun.
think even goes to even like dating and with women as well. Before I went to the international school, I was like, my life is Nigeria. I'll marry a Nigerian woman. I'll be with that, and that is all it will be. Then when I went to the international school and I talked to all these girls of different races, different languages, different cultures, acted differently, I was like, oh my gosh, like it makes no sense if you say, oh, I only date
It's
black women.
boring.
Or because once you just see that, you're like, oh my gosh, like because it gives you a global outlook. And for me, it makes you, especially when you go to an international school when you're long, it gives you a hunger to learn about someone that has a different culture. Like for instance, like one of my best friends is Japanese. And the funny thing is
Yeah,
that when I first met him, the first thing I talked to him about is I was like, oh, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Z, because that was the only thing Japanese I
Dragon
knew.
Ball Z is amazing, man.
Yeah, yeah. But the thing that I was drawn to him a lot more than all the other guys who were English because I was like, oh, you're Japanese. That's different. I want to know about Japan because I'm a lot more curious. But I think the issue we have is people just want to stay with people who look like them, act like them, and so forth. So once you just stay inside that bubble, anything that's different is a big thing. Because again, I'll be real with you. Like I remember when I was when I was in Nigeria, never seen any black people. Because so these two white guys that came, they were like electricians to come and fix something at dad's house. When I saw them, I was a bit scared because I was like, wait, why do their skin turn red? Why is their hair like that? Why do they have freckles on their face? Because seeing it in a movie on TV is it from seeing it real? Because of course you see white guys like in Hollywood movies and everything, but once you see it in the real, it's crazy. And even when I went to school abroad or in thingy, seeing white guys go red, seeing how their skin changed and everything was like because I'd
Yeah,
never been used to that. But once you now get over that and you're forced into that proximity, you learn, oh, this is interesting. So the issue we have, because it's so good that we're having this conversation, the issue we have is people haven't gone over that whole thing of, oh, it's different. Because that is always a natural thing of like, oh, that's different. But when you're forced to be in the international school, it's oh, that's different. But you can't
that's right.
run away. You can't go home. You have to live with them 24/7. And by being forced to live with them 24/7, so, okay. Oh, okay. Oh, let's have a convo. Oh, okay. Oh, you know. Then that's what breaks it down. So
I I think it was Raymond who said this on one of your live streams. He said if he was the ruler of the whole world, his only rule would be to force every single person to travel and live in a different place, completely different. Learn the language, learn the culture, learn everything, learn the lifestyle. Just because it would just make everyone understand each other a lot better. And it's hard to talk about race for me because obviously I'm white, so I don't quite understand it that well. Um, but at least I'm trying. It's important to have these kind of talks, and I think everyone should try to listen to this kind of thing.
no, because see, my thing about it is that like all I can ask of like a white person is just don't be racist and just sort of empathize with a life that you've not really lived. And that's really it. It's just sort of
Yeah,
empathize. Because see, now me saying that, oh no, I want all your privileges, I want all your stuff, I want you to be a villain. That's not being realistic. That's just not being realistic because black people just have to find their way to try and get the most out of how this world has just been built and how it has been structured, you know.
mhm.
Um, but it's like no, but even back to your whole travel thing, like see, travel is essential. It's essential.
I don't get it. Like I understand if there's some people that don't travel, because they can't, I understand that. But if you can, please do it. I really encourage people to do it.
No,
I hope
no, but
they
see,
do it.
Daniel,
It's really good.
the thing and it goes back to our point, and this is the issue that we have, is most people are lazy in the broad sense of the word. In the very broad sense of the word, by that I mean 9 to 5, I go home, weekend, I go clubbing, I do my run, repeats, rinse, repeats, rinse, repeats. I am used to that. I don't want to break that. I go on a holiday, I go on a holiday to a very specific place. So people don't want to step outside of their comfort zone. That's what they don't like. People don't want to be adventurous. They don't want to do things that are too crazy because I'm used to this. Let me keep doing this. But it's like, see, as a more hasty, books is not the same as traveling. Because see, books is that's a very good point, because when you read books, you can learn more about different cultures and so forth. Nothing, and I mean nothing, beats going to a different country. Like, because see, I went to Geneva when I was very young. Like I said, one of the scariest moments of my life was going to Geneva when I was young, because I lived with them guardians. So this is my first time. Never left Nigeria before. Leaving Nigeria for the first time, living with complete strangers. But that was the best thing for me, because see, when you're young, you're much more fearless, and you're able to take things a lot more. So once I went there so young, I was like, oh wow. So I really sort of dove into like learning about different people and everything. See, and one of the best things that we did in our school, because I think it was like École Internationale de Genève. So every year at a specific time, there'd be like a food festival. So what happened is that out of the buildings, each country would have their stall, and they would pretty much present their food. So you'd walk through and you'll see like the Dutch stand, you'd see like the Zimbabwe stand, you see the Nigeria stand, you'll see the Italy stand, you see the France stand, and you would go in and they'll tell you a little bit about their food and just have a little taste of their food. That was amazing, because it was about, oh wow, this is the world that we like. The world that we live in is global. And I see, and I'll take it back to this, something that my mom said that is so true. So my mom told me that we are different as a race. We're not the same. The mistake that people make is that, oh no, we're all the same, let's start the same. No, we are different, and that's amazing. So all because we're different doesn't mean that we should hate each other. See, our differences is what makes the world interesting, because like, oh wow, this is a totally different culture from me. Interesting. It's like when I went to Japan, I was like, how clean they are, how organized they are, their sense of humor, how they present their shops, how their shops look, how their TV looks. It's totally different. And even I've been said to guys that, like, I remember when I was walking through a Japanese building with my shoes on, and everyone was laughing at me. I was like, why are they laughing? Because you can't wear shoes in any place in Japan, because you always have to take off your shoes. So I go.
No, yeah, I agree completely. I just wanted to say, like, because before I started watching your streams, the way I thought about race was, if your parents come from a country that's colder, has less sun, you generally have just lighter skin. And if your parents come from a country that is hotter, has more sun, then you have darker skin. That's just the way I saw things, because even with my parents, my dad has very light skin and my mom is darker than him because she comes from Spain, right? And that's just the way I saw things. And I thought, well, everyone's equal. It's just that the different skin color and all that. But listening to you, and you're right, they are different. Different cultures, different languages, different things. But that's what's the beautiful thing about it, is people don't really understand, and I think a lot of people are scared of it as well. Like, meeting different people, I don't know quite what to do, and it's I just imagine a world. It's never going to happen, but imagine a world where differences are looked upon as beautiful things, and not just to do with race, but if you just look at everyone goes out, like I think in the UK is one of the places that's the worst at doing this. But in America, let's say you go out and you wear I don't know, a yellow coat, different color coat. What's the problem with that? No problem with that. But in the UK, I've noticed, because this is my first year living in the UK, right? I live in the UK right now, so if I was to wear a coat, it's ridiculous, but if I was to wear a coat that was a different color from black, dark blue, or gray, people look at you like there's something wrong with you. It's insane, and it's like, but why is that? Why is that?
No.
Why is it that if you're different in anything, you're looked as like, there's something wrong? It's like,
I'll give you a
so
slight
hard.
explanation for that. Is you have to look at what you have to look at, like English, because you know what I always say. This is what I always said. If England was hot all year round, you wouldn't have that.
Maybe,
Think about
yeah.
it. You see, England is very cold and it's known as having very, very bad weather, like very rainy, very gloomy. So a country that's very rainy and very gloomy, there's a particular psychology. Gloomy and rain, it's gray, dark grays, blacks, coats, all through. And then, a few months we have sun, but for most of the months in England, it's very gloomy. Even examples, well, I remember there's one time where I wore like my Nigerian traditional top. I remember walking out, and the guy said, "Oh, nice shirt. Oh, nice color." Like, because he was so shocked that he would see something that was so bright, that was so different. So I think that for England, it's because of the weather, the culture, and how the people react to the weather. It's how it is. But trust me, if the weather was different, it'll be thinking. So just last few minutes or so, I wanted just to even go back to what you just said about see the issue, fear.
Yeah.
And I think people are naturally afraid of stuff that is different. And I think I do believe that you have two schools of people. You have people who have the initial fear, then that fear then becomes curiosity. I am very curious. I love finding out about different cultures because I just think that's amazing. But then the other people that have the fear and maintain that fear because they would rather be around stuff that they know. And my thing is that if you just live around people that you know who look like you, that's a boring life. It's boring.
Very boring.
Because you don't learn anything that interests. It's like, for me, just even having, I told you, like me knowing my Japanese friend is how I went to Japan. There was no way I would ever even think of going to Japan with my Japanese friend who invited me there. We spent time in his house. He financed the stuff for me and two of our other friends and so forth. And it was one of the most amazing trips in my life, going there to Japan. And even speaking with him and talking with him, the amount of things that we are differences, because again, we have differences in culture, but we have sometimes stuff that's the same. But even him finding out about stuff about Nigeria, and me finding out about stuff about Japan, all that stuff is interesting, So, but I just do think that the problem we have is, how do we get people to get over this fear and get them to be curious about finding out about other people? Because see, I asked you about, do you know any black people and so on? Because I think a lot of white people who are racist or ignorant don't know any black people.
They don't know. Yeah, it's true. It's true.
So they view black people as like the stereotype on how media puts them forth. But literally every single white person who, let's say, understands Black lives Matter, understands the thing of black people, have black friends, know black people, and are very comfortable around either black people or people of other races. But the guys who are racist or ignorant or are like, oh, what was this whole thing? All they know is just the people who look like them and people of a similar race, So actually, let's just to round off. Any final words to round off?
Yeah, man. I've been watching you for a long time. I love the show. And yeah, just keep it up. It's really educational. I think everyone should, watch the show. It's really, really good. So thank you, really. Thank you for
no. Thank you for coming.
Showing me a different perspective.
It was good to get a different part. So thank you for coming on, man. Thank you for coming on.
Yeah, no problem, man.
All right, man. Okay, guys. We're out of here. Peace out, stay true. And now obviously have to watch this whole Barcelona game. All right, guys. Peace out. Peace. Become a Half Hope Sort member and gain access to exclusive videos and also the chance to watch films, anime, or different videos with your boy HH exclusively. Just click below on the join button to join in and become a Half Hope Sort member to gain access to these perks. Just click on the community icon over here to view the new members only posts just for you.